Every ranger receives official training. Months of instruction on search and rescue, wilderness first aid, visitor management, wildlife protocols. Everything documented in manuals, tested in certification exams, recorded in official training records. But there are rules that don't appear in any manual. Rules passed down verbally from experienced rangers to new recruits during quiet moments in ranger stations. Rules mentioned casually during patrols, demonstrated through example rather than instruction, understood through years of experience rather than formal training. These are the unwritten rules, the unofficial protocols that every experienced ranger knows but no training manual teaches. Rule 1. Never be the last person to leave the ranger station at the end of your shift. Always make sure someone else locks up after you. Rule 2. If you find items arranged in patterns on trails, rocks, sticks, leaves, document the location but don't disturb them, and never create patterns yourself. Rule 3. When you hear voices calling your name from the forest during solo patrols, do not respond and do not investigate. Continue your patrol as planned. Rule 4. If you encounter someone on a trail who asks what year it is, answer the question but do not ask why they're asking. File a report when you return. 4 rules. Passed ranger to ranger. Never written in any official manual. Never explained in any training session. But every ranger who works the backcountry for more than a year learns them. The end of shift protocol. Ranger stations close at the end of each day's operating hours. During peak season, that's usually 1,700 or 1,800 hours. The closing ranger is responsible for securing the station, locking windows, turning off lights, activating security systems, checking that all equipment is stored properly, and locking the door on their way out. Standard procedure, written in the Station Operations Manual, part of every ranger's training. But there's an unwritten edition. Never be the last person to leave. Never lock up alone. Ranger Elena Vasquez learned this rule during her first season at Olympic National Park in 2008. She'd been assigned closing duty at the Hoh Rainforest Ranger Station and was preparing to secure the building when her supervisor, Ranger Marcus Webb, stopped her. "Wait for someone else to finish up," Webb said. "Don't be the last one out." Vasquez, "I'm scheduled for closing. It's my responsibility." Webb, "The schedule is guidelines. The rule is, don't lock up alone. Wait for Foster to finish his patrol logs. He'll be done in 10 minutes. You can both leave together." Vasquez, "Is there a security concern? Should I be worried?" Webb, "Just don't lock up alone. That's the rule." He didn't explain further. He just walked away. Vasquez waited. Ranger Foster finished his paperwork. They left together, Foster locking the door after they'd both exited. Vasquez asked Foster, "Why don't we lock up alone?" Webb wouldn't explain. Foster, "Nobody explains. It's just the rule. I learned it my first month. My supervisor told me the same thing Webb told you. Don't lock up alone. I asked why. He said, because we don't. That was 5 years ago. I've never locked up alone. I've never seen another ranger do it either." The pattern was consistent. Over her first year, Vasquez closed the station dozens of times. Every single time, another ranger stayed until she was ready to leave. They'd wait, sometimes for 10 or 15 minutes, doing unnecessary tasks, organizing already organized supplies, rereading reports they'd already filed, checking equipment that didn't need checking. Then they'd both leave together. Neither ranger would be the last person out. Vasquez tried to find a written policy. Nothing in the Station Operations Manual. Nothing in the safety guidelines. Nothing in the security protocols. The official procedure said, "Closing ranger secures the station and locks the door." But the unwritten rule said, "Never lock up alone." In her second year, Vasquez was closing the station when her usual backup ranger, Chen, called in sick. She was alone. It was 17:45 hours. The station was supposed to close at 1800. No other rangers were scheduled to be in the area. She called Webb. "I'm scheduled to close, but Chen called in sick." Should I wait for another ranger to arrive? Webb's response was immediate. Yes. I'll send someone. Don't close alone. But it's a 40-minute drive from the nearest station. We'll be closing 90 minutes late. That's fine. Wait. Webb sent Ranger Ortega. He arrived at 1840 hours. Vasquez had been waiting, alone in the station, for nearly an hour. They secured the building together and left at 1850. Vasquez asked Ortega during the drive back, "Why is this rule so important? What happens if you lock up alone?" Ortega, "I don't know. Nobody knows. But every ranger who's worked here more than a season follows it. I've heard it's been the rule since at least the 1980s, maybe earlier. Nobody breaks it." Vasquez, "Has anyone ever broken it? What happened?" Ortega went quiet for a moment. Then, "I heard about a ranger in the Deschutes 90s who locked up alone. He was new, hadn't learned the rule yet. He closed the station by himself one evening." Vasquez, "And?" Ortega, "He called in sick the next 3 days. When he came back, he transferred to a different park within a month. Someone asked him what happened. He said, 'Nothing happened. I just don't want to close stations anymore.'" Vasquez, "That's it? That's the story?" Ortega, "That's all anyone knows. The ranger never talked about that night." But after that incident, the rule got reinforced. New rangers are told explicitly, "Don't lock up alone. No exceptions." In 2019, Vasquez became a supervisor. She trained new rangers. During their first week, she pulled each one aside and told them, "When you close the station, make sure you're not the last one out. Wait for another ranger. Lock up together." Every new ranger asked why. Vasquez gave them the same answer she'd received, "Because we don't lock up alone. That's the rule." She's been a ranger for 16 years. She's closed stations hundreds of times. She's never locked up alone. She's never seen another ranger lock up alone. She's never found a written policy explaining the rule. She just knows. Don't be the last person to leave the ranger station. Never lock up alone. When new rangers press for explanation, she tells them, "Some rules exist because of bad experiences we don't talk about. This is one of those rules. Follow it." The arrangement protocol. Backcountry trails collect debris naturally, fallen branches, scattered rocks, decomposing leaves. Standard trail maintenance involves clearing obstacles and ensuring safe passage. Rangers carry tools for this purpose, saws for branches, sometimes rock bars for moving large stones blocking the trail. But there's an unwritten rule about patterns. If you find items arranged in deliberate patterns, rocks in circles, sticks laid in geometric designs, leaves placed in specific formations, document the location, photograph the arrangement, and file a report. But don't disturb the pattern, and absolutely never create patterns yourself. Ranger Thomas Chen learned this rule during a trail patrol in 2007. His second month at North Cascades National Park. He encountered a formation on the Cascade Pass Trail. 17 rocks arranged in a perfect circle, each rock roughly the same size, positioned in a clearing about 15 feet from the trail. Chen's first instinct was standard trail maintenance thinking. Remove the rocks, restore the area to natural appearance. Someone had deliberately placed these, probably hikers creating trail art or marking a campsite. He was reaching for the first rock when his patrol partner, Ranger David Ortega, grabbed his arm. "Don't touch them," Ortega said. Chen, "They're blocking the clearing. Someone probably." Ortega, "Doesn't matter. Don't touch them. Document and report." Chen, "It's just rocks." Someone made trail art. Ortega, "Rock circles get documented. You don't move them. You don't add to them. You especially don't create your own." Chen photographed the circle from multiple angles, recorded GPS coordinates, and noted it in his patrol log. When they returned to the station, Ortega showed him where to file the report, a specific logbook kept in the supervisor's office, separate from regular patrol reports. The logbook was labeled Spatial Anomalies, Pattern Documentation. It went back to 1992, hundreds of entries, all describing patterns found on trails. Rock circles, stick formations, leaf arrangements, stone cairns in unusual configurations. Chen asked his supervisor, Marcus Webb, "What's this about? Why do we document patterns?" Webb, "Because we do. When you find deliberate arrangements on trails, you document them. You don't move them. You don't replicate them. That's the rule." Chen, "But why? What are they?" Webb, "We don't know, but we document them. That's all you need to do." Over 15 years of patrol work, Chen has documented 43 patterns. Rock circles are most common, but he's also found stick formations arranged in precise triangular grids, lines of stones leading off trail for exact distances, then stopping abruptly, leaf arrangements in spiral patterns that persist despite wind, cairns stacked in specific numbers, always 7, 13, or 17 stones, branch arrangements forming geometric shapes visible only from above. Every pattern gets photographed, GPS tagged, and logged. Chen files the reports. They go to regional command. No feedback ever comes back. No explanation is ever provided. But the rule is clear: don't disturb the patterns. Don't create patterns. Just document and report. The warning about creating patterns is emphasized during informal training. Experienced rangers tell new recruits, "Don't make trail art. Don't stack rocks for fun. Don't arrange sticks and shapes. If you need trail markers, use official blazes only. Never create patterns." Chen asked why the prohibition was so strict. Ortega told him there was a ranger in the 90s who thought the rock circles were interesting. He started creating his own artistic arrangements along trails, little rock gardens, geometric designs. He thought it was harmless trail beautification. Chen, "What happened?" Ortega, "After 2 weeks of creating rock patterns, he started finding his patterns replicated in locations he hadn't visited. Exact duplicates of his designs appearing on different trails, sometimes 10 miles away." Chen, "Other rangers copying him?" Ortega, "No other rangers were creating patterns. He was the only one, but his specific designs, his signature arrangements, kept appearing in different locations. Same number of rocks, same geometric precision, same everything." Chen, "Hikers copying him?" Ortega, "Maybe. But the patterns appeared overnight in remote areas, with no documented visitor traffic. And they appeared simultaneously. The ranger would create a pattern on one trail, and 3 identical copies would appear on different trails the same night." Chen, "So what did he do?" Ortega, "He stopped creating patterns. Immediately. The duplication stopped after a few weeks. But since then, the rule has been absolute. Rangers don't create patterns. We document them, but we never make them." Chen has followed the rule for 15 years. He documents patterns when he finds them. He never moves them. He never creates his own. He doesn't know what the patterns mean. He doesn't know who creates them or why they appear. He just knows, document, but don't disturb. Never create patterns yourself. And every ranger who learns this rule follows it without question. Rule 3, never respond to your name. Solo patrol is common in wilderness areas. A single ranger covering a designated section, checking trails, monitoring campsites, documenting conditions. Radio contact with the station, but hours alone in the backcountry. The unwritten rule: if you hear voices calling your name during solo patrol, clearly and distinctly calling your name, not just voices in general, do not respond and do not investigate. Continue your patrol as planned. File a report when you return. Ranger Marcus Webb experienced this during a patrol in Olympic National Park's backcountry in 2003. He was 4 miles from the nearest trailhead, alone on a maintenance check, when he heard his name. "Marcus." Clear, distinct, male voice. From the forest to his left, about 50 yards off trail. He stopped walking, listened. Marcus Webb. Full name, pronounced correctly. Someone who knew him. His first thought, another ranger, unexpected encounter, maybe emergency. He was about to respond when he remembered the rule. It had been mentioned once during informal training. If you hear your name on solo patrol, don't answer, don't investigate, keep walking. He'd thought it was superstition, ranger tradition, like not whistling in the woods or leaving coins at cairns, folklore, not policy. But the senior ranger who'd told him had been serious. I'm not joking. You hear your name, you keep walking. You report it when you get back, but you don't respond. So Webb kept walking. He didn't call out, didn't turn around, didn't investigate. Marcus, wait. The voice was closer, maybe 30 yards now. Still off trail. Webb maintained his pace, normal patrol speed. He didn't run, didn't stop, just continued his assigned route. The voice called 3 more times over the next 10 minutes, each time from a different direction. Always the same voice, always his name. Then it stopped. Webb completed his patrol, returned to the station, filed a report, heard voice calling my name during solo patrol, did not respond per protocol. Voice ceased after approximately 15 minutes. His supervisor acknowledged the report with one sentence. You followed the correct procedure. No investigation, no follow-up, just confirmation that Webb had followed the unwritten rule. Don't respond to voices calling your name. Since 2003, Webb has heard his name called on solo patrols 6 more times. Each time he continues walking, files a report, receives acknowledgement. He's never responded, he's never investigated, he follows the rule. And when he trains new rangers, he tells them explicitly, if you hear your name on solo patrol, keep walking, don't respond, don't look. Just continue your route and file a report when you get back. Rule 4, the year question. The 4th unwritten rule is the strangest. If you encounter someone on a trail who asks what year it is, answer the question truthfully and completely. But do not ask why they're asking. Do not inquire about their confusion. Do not offer assistance beyond answering the question. File a report when you return to the station. Ranger Elena Vasquez encountered this situation in 2015. She was on trail patrol when she met a hiker. Male, approximately 40 years old, proper hiking gear, appeared healthy and alert. The hiker asked, "Excuse me, what year is it?" Vasquez's training kicked in before she consciously remembered the rule. It's 2015, June 2015. The hiker nodded, said thank you, and continued down the trail. Vasquez almost called after him, almost asked if he was okay, if he needed help, why he was asking about the year, but she remembered the rule. Answer the question. Don't ask why. File a report. She filed her report that evening. Encountered hiker who asked what year it is. Answered, 2015. Hiker thanked me and continued on trail. No signs of distress or confusion. Hiker appeared oriented and capable. The report was acknowledged. No follow-up came. Vasquez asked her supervisor, "Why do we have a protocol for people asking what year it is? What's that about?" Supervisor, "We document it, that's all. If someone asks what year it is, you answer truthfully and file a report. You don't investigate further." Since 2015, Vasquez has had 3 more encounters with people asking what year it is. Each time she answers. Each time she files a report. Each time the report is acknowledged, with no explanation. The pattern is consistent across parks. Rangers report these encounters regularly. The protocol is the same everywhere. Answer truthfully. Don't ask why. File a report. But no explanation is ever provided for why this rule exists or what the reports are used for. 4 unwritten rules. Never lock up the ranger station alone. Wait for someone else. Leave together. If you find patterns on trails, document, but don't disturb them. Never create patterns yourself. If you hear your name called during solo patrol, don't respond, and don't investigate. Keep walking. If someone asks what year it is, answer the question, but don't ask why they're asking. 4 rules, passed verbally from ranger to ranger. Never appearing in any official manual. Never taught in any training session. Never explained by supervisors when questioned. But every ranger who works backcountry for more than a year learns them. And every ranger follows them. Some knowledge doesn't get written down, Marcus Webb says. Not because it's secret, but because writing it makes it official. And once it's official, people ask for explanations. These rules exist because generations of rangers learned through experience that following them is important. We don't know why, we just know they matter. So we pass them down, ranger to ranger, verbal instruction, learned through example. You watch the experienced rangers. You notice they never lock up alone. You notice they document patterns carefully. You notice they don't respond when they hear strange things in the forest. And eventually, someone pulls you aside and explains, "This is how we do things. This is the rule." 4 rules that aren't written down. 4 protocols that every ranger follows. 4 mysteries that persist through decades of ranger tradition. And 4 explanations that no one's authorized to give because no one actually knows them.